Hello. So here's another little installment of Hogwarts Legacy. And while I'm all right, check me out. And I'm am I check me out. Hopefully that I am able to be heard. Hopefully that I am able to be heard. What the fuck? I am heard. It's all about the power of the tongue. But I'm with an installment of Hogwarts Legacy. I want this shit to be smooth. I feel like this shit not smooth. But yeah. I'm on Hogwarts. Bop, bop, bop. Alright. Let me get serious now. So I got some things that's growing over here. You feel me? I'm planting, I'm in the garden, I'm getting my hands dirty. You know. This is just the stuff that I do. Cause and the reason why I be in here, is really to keep up with my mental health. While I'm out there slaying dragons and stuff like that, and goblins and poachers and stuff. I gotta come back in here every so often and really clear my mind. So I think that's important. Let me collect all this real quick. But on a serious note, for all that do tune into these little gameplays and these little presentations, I'm into the stars and astrology and really tracking the celestial phenomenon to, pay attention to where I'm going, where I'm at, where I was in the past, and really get like a hold on everything and make up a story, that goes on with my life and that is tailored to this life. And with that being said, we have. So I can talk about a little bit what I'm going through right now. I feel like that's a good start. Right now, I'm in a restructuring phase of my life, really trying to. The name of the game right now is providing and having a sense of structure, for how I want to cultivate, my livelihood and earn, And I think nowadays in 2025, as I'm, have I matured to a point, I want to be I want to earn on my own volition and what I want to do, you know. And there is a transit for that in my chart and what's going on right now. So like Saturn is making an aspect to my moon, and usually when Saturn makes an aspect to your moon, Saturn represents limitations, restrictions. Uh, Saturn is the furthest planet, out of the 7 traditional planets that we can see. So it kind of denotes like there's a coldness. There is uh depravity. Um there's a focus, a concentration that needs to be applied, and a sense of mastery, you know? And with Saturn transit, it's not the best feeling, These are you know, the planets Saturn and Mars, they are malefic planets, meaning that they don't feel necessarily good to the human experience. But it's all to everything all works for the good, for a good outcome. I like to say that. I like to think that, even the hardships that we go to is to construct us, and that's what Saturn does. It gives us the hard lessons and the hard disciplines to ultimately crystallize what we want through self-mastery. And that's what's going on with Saturn making an aspect to my moon. And the moon represents your sense of livelihood, well-being. It represents, nourishment, cultivation. The moon is the ruler of the sign Cancer, and Cancer is a water sign. Water is protecting, it's provisionary, it's providing. Cancer and the moon has something to do with the mother. And what does the mother does? The mother bears the child. It takes, it gestates, and it brings into the world, So the moon a lot of times associates its significations with life bringing. Bringing into existence fortune meaning the material world, you know. All right, let me be serious on my speech and the words that I use. I don't want to keep saying and if I have to pause, I want to take my time with what I say, and ultimately I want to get better and master my speech and speaking. I think this life is indicative of that. All right. I got a little words out. Let me focus on what I want to do a little bit. But ultimately, there's a crystallizing effect of the life-bringing aspect or livelihood. How there's a means to provide for self. And at a person my age, I'm not really it's not the point to express how old I am. And when that time comes, and if it slips out, it slips out. But I want to earn on my own volition and my own will in the things that I cultivate and the things that I do. It's going to help me keep going, I feel like. Just having an entrepreneurial mindset and really going through the hardships of formulating a plan and really finding out what works for I as a means of gaining resources and income and providing for myself. So that is what I mean by when Saturn, the celestial body, making an aspect to a natal placement of mine, being the moon. That's what's going on with me right now. A lot of that can look like hardships and how you provide for yourself. Uh, how are you? How are you providing for yourself? How are you making money? How are you getting your income? You know, are you relying on? Are you dependency? You feel me? That is something with the moon. Dependency. Can you depend on yourself? That is a lesson that can be signified during a Saturn moon transit, and that's what I'm going through right now, and I'm going through it, and I am through it. I am there. It's all about breathing and taking your time and just being where you are, having awareness of where you are, and sticking to those lessons. Let's do something, man. If that means just fight somebody, I gotta fight somebody. I'm playing Hogwarts, you know. I'm playing the game, but I'm not playing no games, y'all. I'm not even gonna complete my sentences because you already know. Like, I don't play games. This is a little goblin outpost. Let me see. Let me talk to them real quick, cause you know, sometimes like these goblins, like in the past, like they be running up on me and they be slashing me. Like I'm not gonna slash back. You feel me? And I gotta make my mark. I gotta make my mark, and I gotta do my thing. I'm gonna shoot the dart. You know, I might even bite them with my fangs and my teeth. All right. Other than that, with the Saturn and Moon transit, you know, there's a couple of things going on in the sky. You know, it's Libra season. It's Libra season. So we got to know where Venus is, because Venus rules over Libra, you know? So when the sun is in Libra and it's being hosted by Venus, it's important to know where Venus is. And Venus right now is in Virgo. Venus is debilitated in Virgo. When a planet is debilitated, it means that it is opposing the sign where it is exalted. And Venus is exalted in Pisces. Venus represents the arts. It represents beauty, relationships, friendship, you know. And in this aspect, it's where pleasure wants to reside. It's where the good feelings want to reside, you know. Venus in Pisces is the feeling of unconditionality and art and expressing yourself. And you know, it's a water sign, so water has to do with bringing in an intoxication in the means of bringing in a sort of feeling. So when Venus being indicative of Pisces, everybody wants to be in this area and socialize and express. You know, I think Pisces is very much of like a Comic-Con convention type thing where we've got a whole bunch of, you know, gathering around, you know, like arts and, you feel me, animes and, you know, an output of people's skills and, you know, artistic capabilities. And this is a place for people to be grounded in relationships and friendships and socialize and be in a world, escape into a world. You feel me? That is very a Piscean energy. So back to the thing, when Venus is in Virgo and it's debilitated, you know, there is a means to control. You know, Venus in art, it likes to flow. It likes to flow. It likes to be unconditionally loved, you know. It doesn't like to be criticized for how it expresses itself, for its style or you know, how it relates, what it's into, what it values, appreciates. So but it is in Virgo right now, but it's at the end of Virgo. It's about to change dignity into its home sign. So all that to say that when we talk about the sun being in Libra, Libra is, it's the initiating of the dark half of the year. Representing consequence. You know, Libra is the home sign of Venus and also the exalt of Saturn, which signifies and represents and symbolizes death, decay, things coming to finality. Let me go put my paws on somebody, man. I'm done with all this talking.
This could prove dangerous if I'm not careful.
That's what I'm saying. This could prove dangerous if I'm not careful, but I am careful. Alright? Look. Alright, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I like to do. I like to sneak up on them. I like to sneak up on them a little bit and let them know that I'm there silently, because I don't want all the drama. And really, I'm about peace. Really, I'm about peace and tranquility. Oh shit, that's a Doug bug. Oh nah, that's a Doug bug. You feel me? You can't even sneak up and pectoris, patalis, whatever that thing. Let me pay attention to what that shit is actually, because that's important. You know what? I'm gonna save that for another time. What happened to the Infuriouses though? I just took down one Infurious. Let me see what's going on. Alright, it's a little dark wolf, a little mongrel. But I think Libra is a signifier of legitimacy. If you've been putting in work, if you've been trying to get an outcome, or if you've been doing anything, Libra is the sign of judgment. It's the sign of harvest. What is to come of that? You know, if you're trying to go legit in whatever artistic expression that you're doing, you know, Libra and Saturn, and that Saturn Venus archetype is there is like a maturity to what you're doing. There is the contracts, the legal documentation, the legitimacy, the went legit of it all. Where it's like contractual agreements is to come and to make something you can stand on, you know, when Libra comes. And, you know, it might be a time of, you know, a consummation of what all you've been doing. And is this working out? You know, what's to change of it? That's more of the season ahead of before, which is Virgo. What's to change? What's to be cautious, to be meticulous, and have like a purity mindset, and having discernment and discrimination. Libra is a sign of evaluation, and okay, what is placed in front of you is what to work with, and to try to gain, try to execute. Can we make a functional structure out of whatever we're trying to cultivate? And it's the time of whatever is here has been cultivated. has been harvested. This is what is harvested. And this is usually the archetype and dichotomy of, not dichotomy, but what is to be shown when the sun transits Libra. But now that Libra is hosted by Venus, and Venus is at the 29th anaretic degree of Virgo, it's to signify that there's a structure that is being destroyed so that you can fully see the element of what has been harvested and what has come to fruition, you know? You see what I just did there? I was talking and I still snuck up on them, you feel me? That's why I like the disillusionment spell, you feel me? Cause I get to, oh shit, I get to really relax and be in my thought. Oh, okay, there we go. And be in my mode of thinking without the drama of having to fight, you know, like that. But I still finish it, you know, just like Saturn. But let's say we planted like some seeds and we were tending to the garden, we was watering, we was placing the plant in sunlight where it needed to be. Libra season would be the time of harvest and to see the fruit. Is indicative of like a full moon, where in full moons you see, you know, the fruit of the tree starting to come forth and be of a thing of fortune, materiality. It's starting to be in material. That's kind of what I see Saturn as being. Crystallization, glue, kind of holding a thing together and binding it. You know, these are contracts, these are legal documents, these are things for protection of a structure so you can build on top of. If I've been, you know, trying to get something off the ground, as far as, for example, if I've been trying to set up like recording and if I've been recording, because I be recording music, I be recording art, and so I have like some experience with, you know, expressing some sort to an audience, you know. Come this season, you know, me just doing something like this, recording gameplay and commentary, you know, is the fruition of the skills I've cultivated while, you know, expressing myself musically. Now, since I have a concrete skill, I can apply it to other things, and this is where I'm at right now, you know, just based off what I've put into works over time and harvested, you know. And who knows, maybe this might be more for me. But that is what I mean by finality and judgment and evaluation and the harvest of fruits and the land, you know. All of that preparing and structuring, and you know, the passion that came out of recording and stuff like that as translated over to something that could be, you know, another outlet which could provide a means of structure into my life. And that's where I'm at right now. That's where we're at. And you know where I'm at too? I'm on top of the mountain. But I'm about to go down there. You feel me? Ah, shit, nah. Come here, bro. Come here. I'm over here. Oh my gosh, bro. Yeah, yeah. What's up? Come on. You weak. You weak. Bitch. Excuse my language. Sometimes I just get passionate and shit like that. So Venus is moving into Libra to be in the same sign as the sun, giving the sun a little bit more power and dignity, you know? And just ultimately aiding to that culture of judgment and applying a structuring and a harvest to what we want to of what we wanted to cultivate over time, you know. So when Venus moves into Libra, I can see it as this is when the shaking of hands will start to come together. If you've been working on something, if you've been, you know, trying to see something come about as far as friendships, relationships, you know, whatever you're trying to, if you're trying to get a job or something like that, this is the time where you're shaking hand, so to speak. What I mean by that is like you're coming into an agreement, a contract, you feel me? If you've been in the modeling sphere, you feel me? This is where the legitimateness comes from. You feel me? If you've been working on yourself and actually been putting in the work, you know, you'll see opportunities of gaining a sense of structure. You know, if you've been putting in the work. That's what I'm saying. So when Venus moves into Libra, it's like a success. Finally, fuck. And that, I mean, you know, even that can come with its hardships and stuff like that. But I'd rather see a hardship and a sign of the universe. Come forth. You know, so I wonder how that's gonna look for me. You know, I've been looking for opportunities and stuff like that, and I am the opportunity. And I'm that I come across an enemy. I'm gonna show them that. You see, they don't want to play no games, man. I'm not here to play games though. I'm here to talk to the people, and I'm here to I'm here to educate. Ah, fuck, I just activated my little thing. But I'm here to educate. The sun is in my 9th house of education and institutions, higher learning, guruship, studentship, you know. The sun is transiting that. Look, for an example, just the simple fact of me being on here and, you know, and what brought my idea, that's crazy. What brought my idea to really get on here and really talk about and try to teach in a sort of sense was I was with my cousins earlier or yesterday. And these people talk about I could be an educator and I could be teaching the kids and stuff like that. Who I look like being a substitute teacher? Come on, I'm doing this my way. So I'm on here and, you know, in my knowledge of the stars like that, I feel like this could be useful to the people that come to perceive it, you know. So I'm gonna put this on my. I'm gonna put clips of this on my Instagram at a stingy read STENGIREAD on Instagram, where you could get a reading, or at this point where you can just be knowledgeable of the stars, and where I can devote to cultivate like a cult fan base, a cult following, you know, and being that the power comes to me with what I know and what others might be curious about, and take me for real, because I've been putting in the work, and don't call my bluff. So let me show what's up to this guy real quick. Let me talk to this person. Let me lock on. I'm gonna let you get a hit in. Ah! You really thought I was gonna let you touch me? Bah! Come on. Bitch. Come on, what are you trying to do? I'm really like, come here. What? How do I want to finish you? It says flip a Doug bog onto his back. How I do that? You see, sometimes they don't even be telling. Oh, hold on. You see? Now, this is called flippendo. Flips objects and enemies upwards and backwards. With its short cooldown, it is excellent for setting up and extending juggles. Its ability to flip objects instantly is useful for solving puzzles and exploiting certain enemies' weaknesses. You feel me? I'm going to use this just because it has flip in the name. So if I look stupid, you feel me? I'm not. Because I'm kind of trying to use my little... What? You tripping, man. Let me see something. Ah, shit. How am I supposed to do that, though? Maybe I'm supposed to just block and then do that shit. Oh, was that what it? What? All right, whatever, bro. You just a Doug bog, bro. You not even nothing, like, for real. All right. But what do you got for sale over here, though? You see, I'm looking at the gameplay on the little OBS screen, and this shit is just not smooth like how it's supposed to be. So I gotta do more research on that. But this is just a testimony of Venus being at the 29th degree of Virgo, moving into Libra, And by time Venus gets to a certain degree in Libra, will signify and identify a time where I probably got this shit more together, But for now, I'm where I'm at. May I see your wares? I'm gonna get on this platform and be on my music shit too. I feel like I'm cold at the music shit too. I tell them rest and be the home, let it be all over. We how you learn of the right and wrongs, the practice it's over the grounds of the ethical and moral. It's all floral to home. We can get along to what come to fruition, not the defensive. Toast to the bliss and listen, foreign traveling. Know I'm having it, epiphany, philosophizing, broadening the mind, watching for lies, ill advising, follow, leading the blind. It's our timing. We drop it down to let that trail find us. The file is a policy, is the go. When you find it, let go. Old news, no tofu, soya, do the most to the boy. And may a man go through with a void and be rewarded with a path equipped with a staff, be it sword. I was bored with the floors, now it's floor or a home. Fuck, I just dropped that shit again. Grow with plants, supported a forward movement on. I was sworn to be known for the voyage of four moral. It can go, flicker the bogus, a boast, bragging my toke, nagging my folk, having happy the most, laughing mad at the death of he ghost. Splatter be the roach before you had known the wings master. No police after us, what the world needs for real. Oh, did y'all just see how he just did that? He was stuck and he was glitched out, and he used this attack to get out of that. I respect that a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. But look, just perish, bro, because you was stuck. You was stuck in the mud. Bitch. Me? Come on. Why y'all be getting stuck, bro? What you trying to say? Like something trying to hold you back? Ain't nothing trying to hold you back. Ain't nothing holding me back, bitch. Excuse my language, man. Ooh! Nah, son, I'm not even feeling that. My controller got stuck or something. That wasn't supposed to happen. Ugh. Come on, you gotta be quicker than that. Ooh. I wonder why they got so many rocks in this pond and stuff that I can just. The game is kind of making it easy for me and allowing I to use. Let me get out these swamps, bro, because they just be. The Doug bugs, you really gotta watch out for them people because they just be coming up out the blue. I'm not even like you'll be fighting a Doug bug and like you'll take it out, another Doug bug will come. As you fighting that second Doug bug, feel me? Two more would see you from like a few meters away, and they'll come and attack, and they won't even like announce themselves. They just gonna invite themselves into your circle, you know. And I keep my circle closed. Speaking of keeping circles closed, we have Mars in its home sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is a sign where it needs to know all of the structures around in its environment, or that's the plot and the purpose of and the direction that Scorpio takes. It's to have a small circle type shit. You feel me? Tyler the Creator, he has the moon in Scorpio, and all throughout his career, you feel me? You see he keeps the same friends, and he keeps the same friends, the same circle environment. That's usually a theme and archetype of Scorpio, most notably the impermanence. Impermanence meaning the oncoming of, the death or the falling off of, and usually what comes out or what presents itself when we talk about this shit is what are the elements around that can contribute to the falling off of your well-being or whatnot. The moon has its fall or debilitation in Scorpio. Moon representing life and birth and comfortability and livelihood and nourishment and structure and dependency, providing care. Being its debilitation Scorpio, there is a hold on these things, a need for this thing. A lot of Scorpio moons have their shit together. There might be too kind of independent to their detriment, literally. But with these placements, these debilitations and detriments, it's all about the field of experience, and these placements make for strong um signifies strength in what a planet signifies, because throughout the lifetime, if you go through hard experiences, you gain a foundation, you gain a structure of sorts. But talking about Scorpio, you feel me, and keeping my circle and knowing my environment and what's around, and the harms to the environment and stuff like that, that is very much of a Scorpio need. For me, I had a Scorpio moon friend, you know. Uh I mean, I consider an associate or whatnot. You feel me? I'm Pisces, so I like to see everything as like, inclusiveness. That is Pisces thing, inclusiveness. But so that's where I'm coming from, is friendship. But you know, I remember I went to the crib to work on some music or to work. You feel me? And at the door, this person looked behind me as if somebody like, as if he didn't trust me. Like I'm not even on that, man. But being a Scorpio moon, it's always on edge. It's that paranoia. It's that little dog. Oh, you see me? Come on, bro. I'm over here trying to like explain myself and stuff. You see, now you really about to get what's coming to you. But yeah, that it's the dog that it starts barking when you get too close. That is a Scorpio thing. So the person looked behind me like as if I was trying to line them up or something. Like, what? Well, bro, I'm not even on that. Don't even, please, bro. I like peace. I like my peace. So yeah, if you got a Scorpio moon or any type of Scorpio placements, you might be on that shit too. What are we talking about, bro? You not touching me. You not touching me. All right. Yeah. And your man's just messed it up for you, for real. Because that came from him. Come here. Oh, look. Pushed him off the edge and shit. I got 25. I got 25 Wigan Well potions, man. I'm cool right now. One less poacher in the wizarding world, man. Fuck them poachers, man. That's what I'm talking about. You see, I can't even use one of these. I can't even pick up this Wigan Well potion. Because I'm full. And I've been eating. What else we got? Mercury's in Scorpio. Mercury's in Scorpio conjoining Mars. Mercury's in Scorpio conjoining Mars at what by the time Mercury get up there, it's probably gonna be like Mars probably gonna be like 15, 16 degrees Scorpio. And these two planets in this conjunction is pretty much gonna signify the transitioning and the coming into awareness of, if we see other celestial phenomenon take place and we piece together like the puzzle in the story, this is going to be the time where that awareness of what's really going on and what's to come as far as our direction and observation and analysis and piecing the puzzle and pattern together of what we want to see happen or what is happening in the themes of impermanence or structures falling, Mars is about destruction, and a lot of shit be going on in the world at times too, just on a vague level, on a generalization level. But when Mercury and Mars come through, I feel like that's when our awareness to see what is being destroyed, like what is being destroyed and transformed, you know, in all of the things that are chaotic, and like the wars and battles that might be going on in the world, and the powers, what's coming into power, what's falling out of power, as far as the structures in our life, the aspects of our life, more specifically where you have Scorpio at, you know, that awareness and that, you know, making the bridges and connecting the dots come into place. I'm not going to expose where my personal planets are and personal placements are, but I got a few ideas and I'm working on. So if y'all could see type shit and peep, and if you smart enough to peep what might be going on and what you can see from mine, you know, then you connecting the bridges and the dots and stuff like that. But I acknowledge that you do that in your own life and stop worrying about my shit. Y'all bear with me with the recording and gameplay and stuff like that. I gotta invest. I am investing. How am I investing? See, these are questions you gotta ask yourself to further and progress, you know. A lot of times we be in our modes and we be in our motions and stuff like that, and we be getting caught up into I will do this and I want to do that. But really it's about, nah, I am doing that. I am this. And then now you further question of, okay, so how am I doing this right now in the present moment? How am I this? And you can kind of, you know, you have a concretization of the will, you know, in that moment. So you can further manifest or desire and fight and gain and dominate and do and will into existence. You know, there's a difference between manifesting and willing into existence and being there, being present. This is something that Scorpio does, since Mars is the ruler of Scorpio. Domination, war, achieve, movement, action. But with Scorpio, it's it's indicative of Mars's feminized nature, meaning just like in a shark in the water, you feel me? You can't see the shark. The only thing you can see of the shark is like the fin. You feel me? But by the time you see the fin of the shark, if you in the water, it's like it's kind of, you gotta be on your, like, you gotta be ready to punch the shark in the nose because it's coming up to you on some shit. Like, there's a threat. Boom! That's the perfect wording for Scorpio. Threat. What are the potential threats around me? Remember when I was talking about the dude who, you feel me, was looking behind me when I approached the crib? Like I'm like some type of thug or something? Come on, man. I'm not on that, man. I just wanna I just want to be loved. But there's a threat involved. And that's what the collective could be feeling, you know, by time Mercury and Mars uh coming into conjunction at the 15th degree of Scorpio, you know. But Mercury has to do with communication and talking and expressing and connecting the dots and making observations and analysis, pointing out of something. We're going to have awareness of the threats by communication and messages and stuff like that. And the destruction of certain ideals, entities, principles. Okay, I'm with this talking shit, with this commentary shit, I can kind of feel like a sense of flow in it all. I'm actually like, I think I'm actually gonna watch this recording back and while I upload it, even though the gameplay is like kind of drastic for real. But all to say, it is a day as the sun is coming up right now. You know, the rising degree at this moment is somewhere like 15 degrees Libra, and the sun is in Libra, so that means that the sun is rising pretty much since it's in the rising sign. That's like a little key hack real quick. What else we got? Jupiter is an exalt in Cancer. Jupiter is, you feel me, in Cancers, and people with prominent Cancer placements feel this right now, of teaching and wisdom and experience and travel, you know, broadening of the mind, philosophizing, broadening the mind, watching for lies and advising, follow, leading the blind. It's our timing. We drop a dime to let such trail find us. The file is the policy is the goal. When you find it, let go. Oh, news, no tofu, soya do the most to the boy. May a man go through with a void and be rewarded with a path equipped to the staff, be it sword. I was bored with the floors, now it's floral home. Grow with plants, supported a forward movement on. Now it's sworn to be known for the voyage of moral. It can go, flick of the bogus of boast, bragging my token at my folk. Having happy the most, laughing matter the death of the ghost. Splatter be the rose before you had known the wings master. No police after us, what the world needs. Feel me? When I was writing that, I think transit wise, and in like the horary space, 4 of the hour is what that represents. There is stuff going through the 9th house of travel, higher learning, education. So that's where a lot of those bars come in. Broadening the mind, watching for lies, advising, philosophizing, epiphanies, feel me? Dreams. This is all 9th house things. Guruship, students, education, you learn. And there's a professor of sort, a teacher. You know, and that's like, I think that's been my recording. That's to show my recording process. Is to use astrology in the stars. That could be a hack, you know, for all who like to write and stuff like that, to know how to feel. You know, that horary shit. Like, if you feel a certain way and you want to know what is exactly what you feel, you got to look to like where the moon is and what the moon is coming into aspect, what the moon is moving away from,